Good morning, members of the media, and good morning, Bermuda. I'm proud to be here this morning with my colleagues to present the One Bermuda Alliance platform for the 2017 general election. This is a plan that will help Bermuda to continue moving forward in ways that work for more and more Bermudians, toward more opportunity, more jobs, economic stability, and shared prosperity. It's a plan for Bermudian progress on a very broad scale. It is the product of an OBA team and represents the diversity of Bermuda. All of us coming together, using our experience, our community work, and our understandings of the hardship and the potential to bring forward ideas and plans to meet Bermudian needs and the aspirations today and for years ahead. It is a plan that reflects the confidence and the promise of Bermuda, building on our strengths to move all of us forward together. The commitments outlined in these pages will advance the general good in virtually all areas of daily life: family life, community life, senior life, young life, student life, and economic life. It is a plan that continues our progress on the path of recovery and renewal, taking us further away from the problems of the bad practices of the past that hurt us for many years. It is a plan that is powered and made possible by our solid work to restore economic energy and stability to our island home. By stopping the declines and job losses, by restoring confidence and attracting new investments, we are once again an island that is on the move, better positioned to meet new challenges and the needs of Bermudians in all areas of our life. So, my fellow Bermudians, I invite all of you to take a close look at our plan. It is a plan that responsibility builds on the confidence, promise, and optimism that exists in all of us. It is indeed a very ambitious plan, but we believe that Bermudians should not settle for anything less. After all, this is the 21st century, and we need to step forward together. So, we're going to continue driving the economy forward because it has the power to help more people more directly than anything else. We're going to leverage the recovery in our public finances to launch new infrastructure projects, generating opportunity and jobs, building the 21st century Bermuda. We're going to ensure people's needs are met, students getting the best possible education, seniors getting the care they need, young Bermudians looking to own a piece of the rock, emergency housing to help the needy, support for small business. Yes, my fellow Bermudians, we will deepen the principles of fairness in Bermudian life, ending discrepancies between Bermudian and foreign workers in housing and compensation, passing hate crime legislation, cannabis forgiveness legislation, lowering taxes for lower income workers, appointing a seniors advocate, and achieving a balanced budget that will allow us to start paying down the debt and easing the burden on Bermudians not yet born. Ultimately, this is a plan to progress Bermudian life, and that is what makes us all most proud, that we have a team whose collective connections, understandings, and wisdom has helped produce a strategic plan that will help all Bermudians move forward together in this ever-challenging world that we live in.
Good morning, everyone. So first of all, the kind of main thing that we were elected for last time was trying to halt the major slide in our economy and turn Bermuda around for jobs and economic growth. We certainly focused our energies there. We had a monumental task with reducing the deficit. Every year we spend more than we earn. It adds to the debt. And what a lot of people don't make the connection on is when you have to pay the debt, those debt payments crowd out the ability to pay for other social programs. The Ministry of Debt is our biggest ministry right now. It's very hard to set up a system that protects the most vulnerable in society when debt is crowding out your ability to fund those services. Our first goal was to get our house in order, create jobs, stimulate the economy, and get that deficit down to zero. We're 18 months away from a balanced budget, which means once we get over that hump, we'll be in a position to be expansive on funding social programs, as opposed to constantly trying to figure out where you're taking from to pay somewhere else. So this term, this platform, really excites me. You know, I didn't get into politics to try and figure out where to rationalize costs and this kind of thing. I got into trying to ensure that everyone has an equal starting line in life. And there's a lot in this platform that really gets me excited, especially when we speak about the educational space. We've been looking at building on course stability and incremental improvements. We're looking to expand the technical curriculum from city and guilds at age 12 in the middle school system. We're looking to expand on the successful dual enrollment program at the senior school through Bermuda College to ensure that going with this level playing field, this equal starting line, we want to make sure that everyone has the same access to literacy programs before they even enter the school system. The Reach Out and Read program ensures through participating pediatricians that parents are given age-appropriate books to their children when they visit before the age of 5, and they're given coaching on how to read to their kids, so we can ensure that everyone's getting to school with that same access to literacy. The creative curriculum is being expanded at the preschool level, and so this platform, this really gets me excited. We've managed to stabilize the economy. We've managed to ensure that we're not 18 months from now adding more to our debt, and we can really focus on a lot of the major social issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. And next, I'd like to welcome another very energetic young man who's proved his worth in the Senate, Andrew Simons, the candidate for constituency 17. Good morning, Andrew. Come forward.
Good morning. Thank you, Premier. So good morning. This morning I'm going to touch on a few areas of the platform that support seniors. And I'll say not just seniors, but you'll also see anyone needing longer-term care. So one item on the platform is social insurance enforcement. So most people know that one of the required deductions from your paycheck is your social insurance contribution. What many people unfortunately find is that when they finally come to retire, they find that those monies aren't there. Oftentimes employers have taken the deductions but haven't submitted them to the Department of Social Insurance. So we will allocate far more resources to energetically enforce that legislation, just as we have done successfully with health insurance. So many of you will know that under this government, the Health Council has been taking people to court for not paying health insurance. They have been naming and shaming employers who have been delinquent in their health insurance obligations. And doing so levels the playing field for all Bermudians and sort of forces the dodgy employers, in essence, out of the market. So a second point, and this is a very important one, is our commitment to protect the pension funds. So if you're a civil servant, yes, you have what they call the public service superannuation pension. So this is your government defined benefit pension. Every month a certain amount comes out, and when you retire, you're entitled to certain benefits. Now, it's always a challenge for government to ensure that the funds that they have set aside to pay those pension obligations are adequate to meet those, to meet that promise. So we strongly commit that we will protect those funds. We won't be investing them in speculative ventures. It's important that we meet that promise. The third item is what we call a caregiver resource center. Now, one of the best ways to help seniors, and again, anyone who needs longer-term care, is to focus on the caregivers themselves. There are so many men, but mostly women, often daughters, who devote a tremendous amount of their time to caring for elderly relatives. It could be their parents, it could be aunts, it could be grandparents, or sometimes their own children. And that care often isn't recognized. They're not care workers, they're not being paid for this, and they do it at great sacrifice. Sometimes you'll see someone in your office who is dashing out at 4:30 because they've got to pick up a loved one to take them to the hospital, or they're still juggling their own mortgage payments, school fees for their children, while also trying to ensure that, that their parents' care is met. One good question to ask to someone caring for an elderly person is, what are you doing about the linens? It's a difficult question, and we find that caregivers need a place. So this would be a funded center where people can answer those questions. A fourth point, and it's related to this Caregiver Resource Center, is an examination of caregiver allowances. As I've just said, people give this care, they care for their loved ones at great expense, without recognition and without remuneration. But there are still gaps, and it makes sense, and other countries have done this, to find smaller ways to provide some allowance to those caregivers to ease that burden. You may know that historically we've had a number of people who've, in essence, been forced to live at the hospital because there weren't adequate places for them to move. So there's this two-track plan to allow people to age in place, to stay in their homes that they're familiar with for as long as possible, and when that isn't possible, ensuring that there are appropriate facilities that will offer the different levels of care that they need. But things like a caregiver resource center, caregiver allowances, fill those gaps. They allow that continuum of care to take place. And the final point I'll touch on is an expansion of home hospice care. I think many people who have family or friends or relatives who have suffered from cancer will have an understanding of the PALS model of hospice care. We have a residential hospice at Agape House, but for many people, their greatest hope is to really spend people with life-threatening conditions, they really don't want to spend their last days in the comfort of their homes, surrounded by family, and at peace without those anxieties. I'll make this final point on healthcare. The OBA has made tremendous progress in reining in the costs of healthcare, but also in improving quality. Over the last 2 years, we have funded and we have started the implementation of something called the Enhanced Care Pilot. Many people in Bermuda suffer from what we call chronic non-communicable diseases. Diseases like diabetes and heart disease and chronic kidney disease. And those diseases are best treated in a primary care setting with a continuity of care, so you don't lurch from emergency to emergency where people find themselves in the emergency room when their care could have been managed in a sort of a more, I guess, coordinated way. So we will build on that enhanced care pilot, which has already started, and sort of take what we learned to continue the improvements in the health system. So there's a lot of really good content in this platform, and I look forward to talking about it on the doorstep. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Members of the media, my fellow Bermudians, you see me. I'm joined here by Deputy Premier and the Minister of Finance. And before I introduce our party chair to say a few words, I just want to take this opportunity now that Bob is standing here to thank him for the job that he's done over the past 4.5 years. As I said in previous rollouts and press conferences, this man, with the support of all our team in the One Bermuda Alliance, has saved this country from economic abyss by his stringent oversight, by his principled behavior, and always holding us to account, by putting budgets down that are appropriate and can be managed, and he's managing them in an appropriate way. We now have economic stability we did not have 4 years ago. With that economic stability, we can focus in on shared prosperity and to help those in our community who haven't felt that tide rising again. We know there are still many Bermudians that struggle. Our work is not yet finished, but thanks to the Deputy Premier and the Minister of Finance and his oversight day in and day out for 4.5 years, Bermuda is in a much better position moving forward. And so, as a team, we're excited about the future. We're excited about the future because just like the rain this morning, The clouds have cleared and progress is being made. So, Madam Chair, over to you.
Not quite sure how to follow that, except to say that we are all extremely proud of this platform that we are releasing today. Later on today, later on this morning, I believe it's going to be released onto our website, and so those who want to get it in electronic version can take a look at it there. It will be placed on social media sites as well. And I just wanted to capitalize on some of the things that the Premier just said. You know, whenever there's been a major trauma to anyone's body, you spend a lot of time just making sure that you stop the bleeding and keep them alive. And after you have them stabilized, that's when you do the pretty things like the cosmetic surgery to get them back to the state they were in before the shock trauma occurred. We've spent the last 4+ years stopping the bleeding and getting this island back on a strong financial economic footing. Now that that's done, we can use the funds towards the things that touch everyday people and not just, you know, help the rating agencies think good things about us. This is the time when we will now touch the lives of each and every Bermudian, young and old and everyone in between, the middle class that contributes to this economy, and help move Bermuda forward. And we're all going to do it together with this wonderful platform that we're releasing today. Thank you.